Of course, with the way this season has gone with the National Football League, instead of us talking about an awesome matchup in Super Bowl 49 between two marquee franchises, two great teams in the New England Patriots and the Seattle Seahawks, we're talking about footballs. Instead of talking about Tom Brady versus Russell Wilson, we are talking about footballs. Instead of talking about Brady matching up against the Legion of Boom defense, we're talking about footballs. Instead of talking about the fact that this is a chance for Tom Brady and Bill Belichick to win their fourth Super Bowl, and the fact that this is the sixth Super Bowl that they've made with the New England Patriots, we're talking about footballs. Instead of talking about the Seattle Seahawks and their chase in pursuit of history and wanting to become the first team to repeat as Super Bowl champion since the 03-04 Patriots, we are talking about footballs. In a season full of stupidity in the National Football League, it is only fitting and appropriate that the biggest game of the year, the most watched television event in the country all year long, a big-time marquee game with two big-time marquee franchises, will be overshadowed by footballs, and specifically the air pressure in said footballs. Look, when it comes to the New England Patriots and Bill Belichick, it seems like it's always something. After the divisional round, you've got John Harbaugh, the Baltimore Ravens head coach, bitching about the use of formations and the fact that he didn't feel the Belichick and the Patriots gave him enough time to prepare on defense when they would declare players as eligible receivers, and it's just ridiculous. It's always like it's something. You go back years ago to Spygate, and that stain still hasn't been wiped away, no matter how much the NFL and the national sports media has tried to brush that under the rug. The stink of that is still there. It's always something, it seems like, with Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots. So, of course, it would only seem fitting in an AFC championship game where the Colts clearly, as I found out, were overmatched and ill-prepared for the onslaught that was to come. Instead of talking about that impressive performance where the Colts, frankly, could have lined up 15 men on defense and not been able to stop LeGarrette Blount, we are talking about the air pressure in the Patriots' footballs. DEFLATEGATE. How fitting. How appropriate. So now, of course, the narrative is going to shift from talking about a great Super Bowl matchup and talk about all these compelling, interesting things for the next week and a half to talking about the air pressure of freaking footballs, how something like this could happen, who was behind it, are the Patriots and Bill Belichick nothing more than filthy cheaters, and what's going to happen, how is the NFL going to handle this, how is the NFL ultimately going to hold the Patriots accountable, what is going to happen, are you going to suspend somebody, are you going to fine somebody, are you going to sit there and take away draft picks, some combination or all of the above? Who knows? Frankly, I'm sure the NFL doesn't know at this point. And of course, it would have to happen this year. In a year that's been filled with a bunch of off-the-field stories and a bunch of things that have frankly made the NFL look bad because the NFL themselves have contributed to making themselves look horrible, that something like this would now happen heading into your biggest game. It's perfect, it's fitting and appropriate. And I know a lot of people are going to want to take to this and make this some type of rallying cry against the Patriots, in particular Bill Belichick, talk about how they're cheaters and talk about how they're this and talk about how they're that. And I understand it because this is stupid and this is ridiculous. And this has no place in the NFL or in any sport for that matter. And if the Patriots deliberately did this, which would be hard to explain to me why they didn't, then there need to be serious consequences and repercussions. Suspensions, fines, stripping of draft picks, multiple draft picks, including a first-round draft pick in the 2015 NFL Draft. There needs to be a message sent that this type of crap is not tolerated, is not allowed. There is no place for this in the National Football League. However, if you were looking for somebody to blame, don't blame Bill Belichick. Don't blame Tom Brady. Don't blame the equipment staff for the New England Patriots. Blame the National Football League. This is an NFL that is more concerned with the color of cleats that a Marshawn Lynch wants to wear in the NFC Championship game than they are with protecting the integrity of the freaking game. This is an NFL that is more concerned with what type of headphones their players are wearing than they are with making sure that the game balls have the proper inflation to them. Instead of making sure that they are responding quickly and properly to off-field incidents, in particular domestic violence incidents, and taking a stand as a league and saying, we're not going to tolerate this out of our players. We expect better, we demand better, and we will hold you accountable to a higher standard. This league drags their feet for months, basically tries to play the ignorance is an excuse card, even though when it comes to things like Bountygate, ignorance was not an excuse. It's funny how ignorance is an excuse when the NFL doesn't freaking know. It's funny how that works. In a year full of stupidity, in a year of PR faux pas and flubs and just flat-out fuck-ups, now we've got the NFL. Of course, they're going to drag their feet when it comes to Deflategate, just praying and hoping that this will all go away. Well, it's not. How in the hell could you even create an environment or a situation where this could occur? How could you sit there and inspect these balls indoors several hours before the game and then remand them back into the custody of the team that is going to use them? You're creating an environment and situation where this type of crap could happen all the time. Who's to say that it doesn't happen every week throughout the National Football League? Knowing the character of some of these people in the damn league, it probably does. How stupid is this? How ridiculous is this? If somebody sits there and taunts an opposing player, we're quick to throw a flag. If somebody does an excessive touchdown celebration, slams the ball over the goalpost, we're going to call a flag because that's important. That's vital to the NFL brand. But if we sit there and have footballs without proper air pressure in them, and that's against the rules, well, we're not going to do anything to try and prevent that. We're going to sit there and put it in a situation where this could even happen. We're more concerned with the guy's cleat colors and what headphones players are wearing to the stadium than the goddamn integrity of the freaking game. Look, again, I know a lot of people are going to sit there and want to rail on the Patriots and blame Belichick and talk about this and that, and they're welcome to it because this is ridiculous. It has no place in the National Football League, and it needs to stop. And this type of crap always seems to come from Belichick and the Patriots. There's a trend there. There's a pattern there. And for a guy that's accomplished so much, they should know better. He should know better. And he should be better. And he should be above this. And the national sports media should not allow him to slide. Don't allow him to say, we're on to Seattle. No, fuck you, Belichick. We're on to Deflategate, you son of a bitch. And I hope the media doesn't cower beneath the awesomeness of Belichick. And they actually go grow some nuts. And they hold him accountable. And they take him to task. Which, of course, they will only do for a little bit. And they will move on because that's what the NFL tells them to do. What the media should be doing, what the fans should be doing, is putting the microscope and the spotlight square smack dab on the forehead of good old Roger Goodell. How does this asshat still have a job? Again, I'm emphasizing, we are more concerned with cleat color, end zone celebrations, taunting, and the headphones that the players wear than we are domestic violence and the integrity of the freaking game. And when it comes to deflated balls that the Patriots themselves were going to use, that is the integrity of the game being taken into question and being put at risk. Of all the things that you could sit there and do, that's one of the worst things you could do, is potentially sacrifice and put at risk the integrity of the game. We might as well allow the players to bet on the freaking games and if we're going to allow this type of crap. When is enough going to be enough for the NFL? What is enough going to be enough for these players, the teams, the coaches, the organizations? When are they going to sit there and realize that we have a major problem, and that problem is Roger Goodell and the stupidity of the infrastructure he's put in place around him and beneath him? If you want to blame anybody for DEFLATEGATE, blame Roger Goodell. Blame the National Football League. Because they've created this problem. They've earned this problem. And now they need to own this freaking problem. Instead of talking about what should be an awesome Super Bowl between two marquee franchises with loads of great potential storylines to keep our interest for the next freaking week and a half, we're talking about the air pressure of footballs. Footballs!